Hello and welcome back to Finance House. Today, we're journeying back in time, not to Wall Street in the 20th century, but to the canals and trading houses of 17th century Holland. Imagine a time when a single flower bulb could be worth more than a mansion. This isn't a fairy tale. It was a very real phenomenon known as Tulip Mania, and it holds powerful lessons about money, greed, and human psychology that are just as relevant today. So, how did a simple flower from the mountains of Central Asia become the world's first speculative bubble? It all started when tulips were introduced to the Netherlands in the late 16th century. These weren't your everyday garden variety flowers. Their vibrant, intense colors were unlike anything Europeans had ever seen. They were exotic, beautiful, and instantly became a status symbol for the Dutch elite. Having a rare tulip in your garden was like owning a luxury car or a designer watch today. It screamed wealth and sophistication. The Dutch Golden Age was in full swing. Amsterdam was the bustling hub of global trade, and Dutch merchants were swimming in cash. This new class of wealthy citizens was eager to show off their prosperity, and tulips were the perfect way to do it. But what really set the stage for mania was a biological quirk. Some tulips were susceptible to a virus that caused their petals to break into stunning flame-like patterns. These broken bulbs were incredibly rare and unpredictable. You couldn't breed them consistently, which made them the ultimate prize. Soon, what started as a hobby for wealthy botanists turned into a full-blown speculative market. Prices began to climb, not because of the flower's intrinsic beauty, but because everyone believed they could sell it for a higher price tomorrow. People from all walks of life, merchants, artisans, even chimney sweeps, jumped into the game hoping to get rich quick. They saw their neighbors making fortunes overnight and thought, why not me? This is a classic sign of a bubble, when the fear of missing out, or FOMO, takes over rational decision-making. The market evolved. Initially, tulips were traded only during their growing season, but to keep the money flowing year-round, traders developed a futures market. People started trading promissory notes for bulbs that were still in the ground. They were essentially betting on the future price of tulips. This is where things really went wild. Contracts for bulbs like the legendary Semper Augustus or Viceroy were traded for astronomical sums. We're talking about prices equivalent to 10 times the annual salary of a skilled craftsman, all for a single bulb that might not even bloom as expected. People traded their homes, their land, and their life savings for these paper promises. At its peak, in the winter of 1636 to 1637, the tulip market was a frenzy. Taverns in Dutch cities became informal stock exchanges where deals were made over drinks. The value of a single Viceroy bulb was listed as being worth 2 loads of wheat, 4 loads of rye, 4 fat oxen, 8 fat swine, 12 fat sheep, 2 hogsheads of wine, 4 tons of beer, 2 tons of butter, 1,000 pounds of cheese, a complete bed, a suit of clothes, and a silver drinking cup. It's an almost comical list, but it illustrates just how detached from reality the prices had become. People weren't buying flowers anymore, they were buying the hope of infinite profit. And then, just as quickly as it began, it all came crashing down. In February 1637, the bubble burst. There wasn't one single event that caused it, but rather a sudden collective realization. A few savvy investors at an auction in Haarlem decided prices were unsustainable and started to sell. This created a ripple of panic. Suddenly, everyone wanted to cash out, but there were no buyers left. Everyone was holding contracts for bulbs that were now worth a fraction of what they had paid. The panic spread like wildfire. Prices plummeted by over 90% in just a few weeks. People who had thought they were millionaires were now bankrupt overnight. The aftermath was chaos. Debtors couldn't pay their creditors, leading to a cascade of defaults that threatened to destabilize the entire Dutch economy. The government tried to step in and mediate, but the damage was done. Fortunes were wiped out, and trust in the market was shattered. Many were left with nothing but worthless bulbs and a very painful lesson in economics. So, what can we learn from a 400-year-old flower frenzy? First, the story of Tulip Mania is a timeless warning about the dangers of speculative bubbles. It shows how assets can become wildly overvalued when their price is driven by emotion and herd mentality rather than fundamental value. Whether it's tulips in the 17th century, dot-com stocks in the 90s, or other modern assets, the pattern is often the same. A new and exciting asset, an influx of easy money, a compelling story, and a widespread belief that this time is different. Second, it highlights the psychology of greed and FOMO. When you see others getting rich, it's incredibly difficult to stay on the sidelines. The rational part of your brain gets overridden by the fear of being left behind. Tulip Mania teaches us to be critical thinkers and to question whether we are investing in something with real value or just chasing a trend. Finally, it's a powerful reminder that what goes up must eventually come down. Markets are cyclical. Periods of irrational exuberance are almost always followed by a painful correction. The key to long-term financial success is not about timing the market perfectly or finding the next get-rich-quick scheme. It's about disciplined, patient investing based on solid fundamentals. The story of Tulip Mania has been passed down for centuries, serving as the original cautionary tale for investors. It's a vivid illustration that human nature, our capacity for hope, greed, and panic, hasn't changed much at all. By understanding this first great bubble, we can become smarter, more resilient investors in our own time. Thank you so much for joining us on this historical journey at Finance House. I hope you found it as fascinating as I do. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about the crazy world of finance, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell so you never miss an update. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next video.